Good morning, everyone. I trust we can hear me. Perfect. Welcome. It's a super exciting time, obviously, with our election process, and again, a first ever Crescent moment of a virtual head boy Q&A. Just a quick reminder, you are going to hear very, very little from me. I know that I'm sure saddens everyone. This is traditionally a session that is run by our current head boy, Ted Ferris, and there's no reason to move away from that model. So welcome. Good luck to our final three candidates. We're super proud of you guys for making this, making this journey to this point. I wish you well. Enjoy, be yourself. Ted is going to moderate this session, so without further ado, I'm going to turn it straight over to head boy Ted Ferris, who is comfortably in the CCL theater, waiting to get proceedings started. So over to you, Ted. Have fun.
Terrific. Yeah, so thank you all for coming out to the Q&A session for the finalists of next year's head boy election. Today, we're going to be hearing from the top three candidates as voted for by you, the upper school students, and faculty members. So it's an incredible feat to have made it to this point in the voting process. So we could all just drop some of those clap reactions as a round of applause for these guys, just for making it to this point. Awesome. And even though the circumstances don't allow us to have our head boy Q&A in the traditional fashion, still want to thank all 256 of you who have come out to hear what these boys have to say. So before beginning the Q&A, all the candidates are going to have an opportunity to introduce themselves for 30 seconds, as timed by my lovely assistant, Ryan. They'll share information such as when they started at Crescent, their house, and anything else about themselves that they feel is important to help us get to know them a little bit better. So Ryan's going to signal to each of them when they have 15 seconds left, and again when their time's up. So we'll start with Tega. Tega, your time starts now.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tega Ajise. I came to the school in grade 7, little boy, but I was Wolf House captain in grade 7, grade 8, and I'm also a Wolf House captain in grade 11. You guys may or may not see me on and off the court as well, and you may as well have seen me during my grade 8 valedictorian speech.
Awesome. Thank you, Tega. Next up, we'll be hearing from Nick. So Nick, your time starts now.
All right, good morning, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nick DeVillichois. I've been a student at Crescent since grade 3. This year, I was Cartier House captain, an executive on the DECA business team, and head of junior business club. I've also been involved in outreach. I went to Moose Factory in Northern Ontario last year, and sports. I played junior badminton, and I was hoping to play senior this year. I really enjoyed my time as a leader this year, and even as a student getting involved in extracurriculars. These are certainly unusual times, but I think with that comes a lot of possibilities and opportunities. So I'm excited to see what next year holds.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. And lastly, we'll be hearing from Caleb. Caleb, your time starts now.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Caleb McLeod. I joined Crescent School in grade 9 and I'm a member of Cartier House. I played junior D1 basketball for 2 years and senior D2 for 1. I'm a member of the mock trial team and the head this year, as well as first chair in symphonic and jazz band. I'm really looking forward to what next year holds, and I hope I can really help to enrich the Crescent experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Caleb. So now that the introductions are complete, we can get to some of the more exciting stuff. So we'll have 3 rounds of questions, each pertaining to a different topic. Each candidate will have 1 question per round for a total of 3 questions each. It's important to remember that these candidates have never seen these questions, so the responses will be on the spot. Candidates, you'll have 10 seconds to think about your response and 1 minute to answer. Ryan will signal when you have 15 seconds left, and again when your time's up. First round of questions will pertain to each of your written applications. This round of questions, Tega will answer first, followed by Nick, then Caleb. So for Tega, it's clear from your application that you've maintained a deep involvement in the house system. You're house captain in grades 7, 8, and 11, and played a key role in the establishment of the house councils this year. What do you think the importance of the house system is at Crescent, and how can it be improved?
So from my experience as a house captain on the house captain's crew and working with the prefects as well, the house system has really helped me to feel the freedom within the walls of school that you don't usually feel at your traditional high school anywhere else. You know, school, the word school has this really negative stigma attached to it. You know, you guys know the acronym, 7 cruel hours of our lives. But as we know, you know, the house system, we get to do a lot of fun activities within the school that really takes us away from all the stressful experiences that it may bring. And as well, it keeps us engaged, keeps us together, helps us to learn in settings outside of our classroom. So personally, as you guys may or may not know from my application, one of the biggest things that we were involved in during this year's house system um, initiatives was the all student led house day. And what I want to vouch for as head boy is to have more events like this where students can have authority and be able to convene things for themselves in order to enrich our experience during the school hours.
Awesome. Thank you, Taiga. The next question is going to be for Nick. Nick, in your application, you mentioned this year's soccer FNL as one of your most memorable experiences at Crescent. Can you explain a little bit more exactly what the Crescent community means to you and how this might manifest itself?
Yeah, for sure. So like I mentioned before, I came to Crescent in grade 3. So I've spent, more than half my life here. It's been a great journey, and I've been there for like a long time. So I've become very close, I think, with a lot of the teachers, a lot of the students, and I think it's sort of this sense of community that I think is like really important at Crescent. It's this idea that we're all as one, once a brother, never alone, and that we're all there. In regards to soccer FNL, I was coming off of a very tiring week, and I wasn't super convinced I wanted to go, but a lot of my friends banded together and it convinced me to go. And it ended up being one of the best events I've ever seen this year, like it always is. You get to see the Crest community in full force. You get to see everybody supporting. The energy is truly different, and I think that's something you can't really see anywhere else. So definitely, Crescent's a special place because of that.
Awesome. Thank you. Final question is for Caleb. Caleb, you mentioned in your application that you want to focus on quality of life areas of the community that do not solely include major events such as House Day or Luna. What minor changes do you plan on making in order to improve this daily life for students?
Well, for me personally, I remember one day coming back to school pretty late after a tournament on Aurora for basketball, and I was locked out of the building with several of my teammates for, I believe, about 25 minutes before we could actually get access to the building. Things like going to the cafe and not realizing that I need to bring cash for the first time, things like that slow down the line. But I also have to emphasize the fact that these are only changes that I've had and experienced and see that need to be fixed. There are other areas of school life that I am not a part of that I know other students will also need fixed. And because of that, I think if we were to look to the community as a whole and ask students in general, what do you think, what minor changes at Crescent do you want to see to enrich your daily experience here? I think we'd be able to find a wide array of areas that we need to improve. So I have a couple of my own personally, but I'd like to emphasize the fact that I only experience a certain small part of co-curriculars in school life, and there are other areas that other students have concerns about.
Thank you, Caleb. So that'll conclude our first round of questions. Round two will pertain to different leadership traits. As head boy, you have the unique opportunity to manage a team of 16 other prefects covering a wide range of activities, each of which impact the student body in a different capacity. 3 traits are going to be the focus of this round: collaboration, adaptability, and vision. In this round, Nick will answer the first question, followed by Caleb, then Taiga. So for Nick, as the leader of the prefect team, the head boy must be able to recognize the strengths of others and delegate tasks accordingly. This requires a certain degree of trust. Can you describe a time where you put your trust in someone to get the job done? What was the outcome, and what did you learn from it?
Uh, so as I mentioned before, one of the things I was doing this year, one of my leadership roles, was for the business team, and that was being executive of the DECA team, as well as head of the junior business club. What I'm talking about pertains more to the executive team that we have on the senior DECA team. Like a prefect team, everybody has their own role, everybody has their own task, and each of them works equally to accomplish something. So as part of DECA, one of my jobs was to make sure that I was preparing students well for the competition in November in grades 9 and 10. And something that I did a lot was rely on my other executives to help me with that process. I trusted them to help me with lessons. I trusted them to make sure they were printing things on time. And I think it's definitely that trust and delegation that allowed me to run things as smoothly as they did.
So thank you, Nick. Next question is going to be for Caleb. In the role of head boy, you will inevitably face unexpected situations that catch you off guard. These might take the form of difficulties with events you're planning or being asked last minute to help out with an open house or assembly. Caleb, how will you organize yourself to ensure that you're prepared for any challenges that might present themselves?
Well, I think first and foremost, when an issue arises that's going to threaten the ability for you to complete an initiative, you have to maintain confidence in that moment in time. For me, if you're going to be kind of shaken by that, then you're not going to respond properly. So I think that's the first action that must be taken. Now, that in conjunction with being organized, that in conjunction with people understanding their roles within the team is the second most important thing. And then it's simply left down to collaboration. So if there's an issue with the project and we don't necessarily know how to proceed, I think it's discussing as a team what we think is best and coming up with an action plan, ensuring every member of the team now understands the new plan, and then simply putting that into action. But for me, the confidence piece is the most important. You cannot be shaken by anything, because in leadership roles, there's going to be times where you're going to doubt yourself. And if you doubt yourself too much, then you really do threaten your ability to work in an efficient manner.
Thank you, Caleb. Our final question is going to be for Taiga. Taiga, vision is critical in the progression of a group in order to make changes and improvements. Crescent is no different with this vision, and they have implementations such as the Master Campus Plan and Portrait of a Graduate. Now, what is your vision for Crescent School, and how will you strive to achieve it?
So from my early humbling days in middle school, not to pick favorites or anything or to single anybody out, but I do remember the reason why I wanted to be a head boy in the first place, and that was because of our alumnus, Andrew Youngson. Seeing him as head boy around the halls, he was a very charismatic individual. He was very inspiring. He was what led me to be the best version of myself. And, those were all the thoughts I was going through my mind as a grade 8 kid. What I might have actually thought was, wow, this kid is so cool. Oh, I want to be him. But what actually came out of that is that he inspired me, and I want to do the same for every individual under my leadership. As a head boy, I would want to inspire people to bring the best out of them. And the way that in which I will do this is by bringing more initiatives to the community where people can feel welcome and really shine in a light of, and really shine in the unique light to be able to do whatever it is that they're really passionate about to excel.
Awesome. Thank you, Taiga. So this brings us to the end of our second round of questions. Moving on to round 3. In the role of head boy, you'll need to be adaptable and be able to work through any challenge that may present itself. As such, our final round of questions are going to be situation-based. Caleb, you'll be answering first, followed by Taiga, then Nick. So for Caleb, right now, school closures, government shutdown, no toilet paper on shelves. It goes without saying that we're living through unprecedented times right now. So should the start of the 2020-2021 school year be substantially impacted by COVID-19, what would your approach be to ensure that you maintain some sense of normality and keep students engaged in the community?
Well, I think the biggest emphasis would be a continuation of connection. We as students, being at home, we are in classes and we are still working, but that connection that you might find in the lunchroom or in co-curriculars is clearly not there. ensuring that we continue to emphasize to students that you can have your own Zoom chats with your friends, that you can also talk to them outside of school time as well, is important. For me, that's the biggest change when you come back to school. During the summer, you're doing things in your own life personally, and you might see some of your friends at school, but going back is always an experience about seeing what people's summers were like. So if I'm envisioning what the 2020-2021 school year would look like in September, ensuring that we emphasize that connection going forward so that students at home don't feel so disconnected from the rest of their Crescent brothers, I think is of chief importance. In terms of actually being able to go to the facilities, of course, that might not be the case, but still having the festivities and still having the opening days that we normally have, I think are important.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question is for Taga. So Taga, being the head boy means that you'll need to be managing the prefect team. After summer meetings, you, along with a number of other prefects, have noticed that one of the prefects appears to be unmotivated and has very poor attendance at meetings. What is your course of action to get them back on track?
The main reason, or the main the driver behind people losing motivation for the most part is always because they do not see the bigger picture. They don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see 15 feet in front of them as opposed to 5. And the thing about that is that as head boy, that is all those things are the type of things that I should be doing. I should be seeing the future for the school, my future plans, and this really has to do with being proactive. So with this particular individual, a conversation always goes a long way. A conversation, taking the steps every day to just make sure that he's making progress towards our goal will help him realize that he's doing everything for the bigger picture, and he will see far into the future and see the light at the end of the tunnel to remain motivated.
Terrific. Thank you, Taga. Our final question is for Nick. Nick, you've just checked the school calendar and you realize that there's a conflict with grad formal and a rugby tournament, meaning that all the boys on the rugby team couldn't attend formal. One of the dates to reschedule formal, however, is at the same time as the DECA competition, meaning if you reschedule, more grads will be able to attend in total, but those involved in DECA, yourself included, will not. What do you do?
Yeah, that's a tough question. First and foremost, like optimally, everybody would be able to attend the formal, but since it's clear that that can't happen, I think we need to stick to what was set in stone. I don't think it's fair to reschedule the formal when I'm sure a lot of people had planned to make their schedules available for that day. So I would say that despite, the interest of the DECA team, or despite the interest of the rugby team, we would have to keep the formal where it is, and hopefully they can maybe zoom in. We don't know. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Nick. So this is going to conclude the Q&A session for the head boy finalists for this year. Taga, Nick, and Caleb, you all did an outstanding job, and you should all be proud of your efforts. So congratulations. Thank you for all coming out and listening. And I mean, if no one else has anything, I think we'll leave it at that.
Actually, we have some questions before you guys go. Dylan and I have prepared a couple assembly questions. It's really important. This is what we've been doing for the past few years. So good luck, guys. Good job. All right, Taga. How will you manage after high school when people stop letting you win in basketball just because you're a head boy?
I should expect this question from you, Finn. I should. Yeah. Oh,
Specifically
well,
me, actually.
Yeah, well, it's like, yeah. So it's a good question, but what I would say about that is, look, winning is subjective. I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm doing something and I'm having a lot of fun with it, then honestly, I feel like that's a win. So, whatever the score with someone else says at the end of the day, you know, I feel like I've won at the end of the day because I know for a fact that I'm putting everything out there and I'm going to have the most fun. You guys can't take that away from me. I'll have more fun than the other individual. That's just a given. That's all I got to say. Dropping the mic now.
Good answer.
Good answer.
All right, Nick, I got like a three-parter for you.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so first of all, do you watch TikTok?
Do I watch TikTok? Yeah, from time to time I enjoy a good
Okay,
TikTok.
so you like kind of know the dances and everything?
I wouldn't say that much.
All right, do you know the names of any? What's your favorite?
My favorite? Like maybe like the Renegade or something.
All right, let's see it.
The Renegade?
Yeah, let's see it right now. I see some space behind you, Nick.
All right, man.
All right, let's see it.
I guess we're doing this.
Oh, good stuff.
I'm a little rusty, but
All right.
I believe it's like this, and then he goes like this, and then it says boom, boom. That's it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right.
All right, final question. Caleb. Let's see here. Please analyze the quote from the book Finnegan's Wake. What clashes here of wills Jen wants? Oystery gods, gagging fishy gods, brekek, kek, coax, alu, quaio.
Okay, so the first question I have for you is, did you take that quote, put it in Google Translate in like 32 different languages, and then give it to me?
That is a real book.
That's a real book.
That's a real book. Very good one. You can ask Dr. Arndt about it.
Can you just repeat like the first part for me? Just the first part. Like I'll tell you when to stop.
What clashes here of will Jen
Okay, you see there, stop right there. That's all I understand. So I'm going to say that there was a fight of some sort between one individual who couldn't speak at the time and another individual who just really was just writing down what that guy was saying. So I don't know what else is really happening in this, but I'm going to go with that. I'm assuming it's symbolism of some sort. When in doubt, just pull out symbolism. So clearly there's some sort of symbolistic in this thing.
Dr. Art, I think you figured it out.
That's right.
Maybe it is a good book after all.
That makes sense.
All right, boys, that's it from us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That's all you got for us?
Oh, yeah, that's it, man.
All
What do you
right.
expect? I'm busy. I've been working hard in my classes.
I'm sure you have.
Bed at 9:30.
Boys, thank you so much. Phenomenal job answering the questions, both from Ted, and certainly, appreciate your sense of humor and your adaptability with our assembly prefect questions. And Caleb does a better answer than I would have come up with. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody. It's been a phenomenal Q&A session. Each of you have represented yourself exceptionally well. Be proud of your efforts. Very much looking forward to mentor group tomorrow, the voting process to continue on. And again, thank everybody thank you to everybody who was at the Q&A session today. Ted, Ryan, Dylan, Finn, great job, you guys. Our three final head boy candidates, outstanding. You represented yourself exceptionally well. I wish you all the best in the voting tomorrow. To each of you, it's going to be a difficult decision for sure. Enjoy the rest of your day. To everybody else, thank you so much. Have a great day, people.